So per day. Uh, Is it audible? My voice is audible to everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am,
it
you
is
are audible.
audible.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So, what are the key aspects of data science? First, you have to collect the data, then you have to pre-process it, and you have to summarize the characteristics in the data, and then you have to visualize it. Here, today, I'm going to deal with data representation and data visualization. It means that I'm going to deal with the two modules, that is statistical analysis and data visualization, with the help of Python. So, what is statistical analysis? So, the statistical analysis is helping you to build a predictive models. That is, you can use either a machine learning algorithm or a deep learning algorithm for analyzing a data. So, today I'm going to explain what are the codes in Python and what are the modules in Python allows us to process the data in the data set, and we are going to see how you can visualize the data. It means a representation of a data. What is a visualization? It is means a representation. You can represent these kinds of data in the form of a charts or a graphs or a dashboards like that. So every user can understand what you have done in the data through visualization only. So the main characteristics of the data science is data visualization. So today we are going to see what are the file formats we can commonly use for extracting, we are for processing the data. You can read the data in a Python code, either a CSV format or Excel SX format, that is Excel format, simple Excel file. CSV format is also look like an Excel file, and also you can read it as a text format also. It means simply the continuous fields of data are represented in a text format. So there will be no present of rows or columns in the text format, but rather in this case of CSV and XLS, it will be the rows and columns format. So the file format, it is a standard way in which the data is collected and stored. So you can collect the data in either in Excel or CSV. The data sets is considerably can be an image or a text file data like that. So most commonly used format here is in the form of rows and columns. It means that it is very easy if you are keeping your file in a Excel or CSV file. It means that a spreadsheet that holds the data belonging to some data type. So other formats also can be considered as a data set. It may be a plain text or dot JSON or dot HTML, MP3 and MP4. All kinds of format can be taken for processing the data as a data set. So first thing is CSV format, it means a comma separated values. So here the file will be looking like an Excel file only. You can open this CSV file in an Excel also. Here each and every data in a data set is separated by a comma. That's why this format is specified as a comma separated values. It can be opened in a notepad or it can be opened in an Excel also. So the first thing, the CSV file, here the example of a CSV file I have opened in an Excel. It is an iris data sample. So these are the iris, it is an image, species, this tab, here the image data sets are placed. So these are the values, that is image pixel values, that is length, width, sepal data, sepal length. These are the pixel values of iris data set. If you processing as an Excel, it can be you open in an Excel format, that is Microsoft Excel. It will be simply looking like rows and column format. So text format, you can open it in a notepad. It will be looking like a clumsy of paragraphs like that only data sets. But those data sets can be processed and analyzed in the data sets using Python. So how you have to import the data into your Python code. So the first thing, there are two major libraries, or you have to import in your Python is import OS and import pandas as PD. Here I'm mostly using this import pandas as PD. So pandas as a library is dealing with the data science, and OS is also library. So this library OS for what case you have to import the OS means, it means that first you have to fix the directory in which the pandas is working. So for that I'm importing this OS library. So first you have to change your working directory. So for that here I have used this OS. So for that I'm here is using the OS dot change directory. This is my keyword. These are all the fixed syntax, and you have to give in which directory you are going to import the pandas. So D colon I am importing my pandas here in this directory. So the next thing is how I have to import my data. So here data underscore CSV, this is my variable name. So in that PD is importing from pandas. So PD is for reading the data file. So you have to give this is a main syntax pv dot read csv. If it is a text file, you can give it as a read text, or if it is an excel file, you can give it as xls. So here I'm importing a csv file. So for that I have to give pd dot read underscore csv. In that you have to give your file name. So with extension is must. So I am reading this CSV file, so .csv. So my data set may contain the blank cells, right? So those blank cells can be read as NaN. So that is not an uh, not an number. NaN means not an number. So those empty cells here in data processing will be considered as NaN. So you have to remove the extra ID. It means that if any empty data is present in your data set, it is represented as question mark or hash or question mark or hash. It can be considered as a NaN values. So for that empty data set, you have to replace it, or you have to remove it, right? So this is a code for replacing the NaN values. So replacing the question mark and hash mark, that is missing values, as NaN. So that is you have to give it as data underscore csv pd dot read csv comma index column equal to 0. If you have a given index column equal to 0 means it will be going on searching for the missing values inside your data set, and it will simply remove it, and you can replace it. If you want to replace it, it will be getting replaced as NaN only. So if you want to convert those values, you have to give like this. So index column 0, comma, NA values equal to question mark or hash. If you have given like this, so these question mark and hash values will be replaced as NaN. So these will be considering as a junk values in data science while using Python. So here I'm simply uploading a iris data set as an Excel. So if you want to import data in the format of Excel means you have to import like this. That is data Excel SX equal to pd dot read underscore Excel. Inside it, um, iris data sample dot excel comma sheet name equal to iris data. So iris data is your sheet name. So in which sheet that is present, you have to give that. So generally Excel will be containing a number of sheets, right? So here you have to name your sheets with your data name, and you have to represent it in your code also. So for example, this is my sheet name. I have to give the sheet name like this. So if you want to import it as a text format, generally a text format will be like this. So for that, you have to use the code as pd.read table inside your text file name. So while processing the data, it will be considering the each line as the index. It will be indexing. So the first row of data will be 0. The second row of data will be 1. The third row of data will be 2. So here all the data will be separated by a comma or a delimiter. A delimiter can be a space or a comma. So anything you can give. So default delimiter is used in a text format is a tab. It means a tab is a 5 spaces. You can give it in a code as SCP. SCP is a separator or a delimiter as a slash tab. It can work or it may not work while you are processing the text data. Suppose if you want to give the delimiter as a space, it means each and every values are separating as a single space. You can give it as a delimiter like this. That like this. Instead of a tab, you can simply give it as a blank spaces. So while considering these data, it will be considering like this only, like this table only. It will be going to consider. Instead of using a read table or read CSV, you can also read the text files in a read CSV also. So here, see the syntax in read CSV. This read CSV syntax will be accepting both the CSV files and also the text files. Next, we are going to deal with pandas and how we are going to importing a data into the spider. Spider is an environment you can process your data using a Python. And first thing you have to create a copy of original data, and you have to process it in a duplicate data. How you can do that, we are going to see, and what are the attributes of data, and how you can index and select the data. So the first thing, why we are going for pandas means it will be providing a high performance computing, and it is very easy to use an analysis tool, as Python programming language is a very simple when compared to other programming languages. And also Python is an open source. You can download it in Google and you can install it, and you can do any data manipulation or analysis using this tool. So in this, if you want to use the pandas, you have to download the libraries from Python, and you have to install it, and after that you can use it by import pandas, and you can use it in Python for data analysis. So the word Python is derived from the word panel data. It means uh, processing of the multi-dimensional data. So Panda deals with the data frames. It means that it will be dealing with the two-dimensional data. So that is rows and columns. So these two-dimensional data will be called it as a data frame in data science. We will be dealing this data frame in two sections. Data frame part 1 and part 2 will be dealing as two parts. And generally, we can call it as a row and column format as a heterogeneous tabular data structures. Why it is heterogeneous tabular data structure means each and every column will be labeled through one unique ID or a unique name. Through that unique name only, we are going to process those data, present it in an Excel. So what are the necessary things? First thing you have to do, import OS. OS is for changing the directories I have said, and pandas is for importing the files and working on the data frames. And it is necessary to import this NumPy package also. If you are dealing with a numerical processing of data, you have to import these. So first thing you have to import these three data modules before working it. So next thing you are going to import a CSV file. Here I have used the Toyota.csv file. It means that uh, descriptions of vehicles. Here I have imported a Toyota.csv file. It will be containing 400 rows of data, and I have used at with this index. So here, this indexing will be done priorly. In the data set, this indexing will be not present. So this indexing will be done by us before processing the data. So through this index column only, we are going to process the data. So you can see the NaN files. NaN means not an number. It means that it is instead of using a null attribute, here in data science using Python, the null attribute is represented as NaN. And you can create a copy of a original data. Here there are two types of copies are there. One is a shallow copy and another one is a deep copy. What is shallow copy means? It creates a new copy. It will be creating a reference to your original copy. So uh, if you are making a change on a copy file, it will be reflected in the original file also. So it is advised to do deep copy while processing a data. In deep copy, any changes made in duplicate copy, that is a copy of a file, it will be not getting reflected into our original file. So what is the syntax is? So Sam is my variable name, cars underscore data. Cars data, it means that my data set name dot copy deep equal to false. If you have given like this, it will be assumed that you are going to do a shallow copy. If you are representing as deep equal to true, it will assume that you are going to do a deep copy. So it is advised to do a deep copy while you are processing the data and attributes of data. So how you are going to process the attributes of data? Attributes means if a row labels of a data frame, it will be assuming how many rows in your data set. And attributes of data here, data frame dot columns, it will be accessing your columns of your data set. It means if in index you have to give the column name. So what are the column names available? You have to give it, and data type of the columns is as object. While here there is no data type, here you will be giving this in the index as like this. So all the row values will be assumed here, and you are going to give data type as int64. Int64 is representing as a byte. That is, each and every row column will be a 64 bits. So there are two types of data type available. 64 and int 32, you check priority whether that cell is capable of storing a 32-bit or 64-bit. According to that, you give it in your code as in 64 or in 32. And what is the length of your data is last value will be given like this. So this my data, I'm having a 0 to 1435. So my length is 1436. So next thing we are going to dealing with the size and shape. Size will be dealing with total number of elements present in your data frame. That is R into columns. If you are storing like this in a variable and getting the output as 14360, y means how many cells are present in the data, it will be counting that and it will be giving the output. If you are giving cars data one dot shape means it will be giving separately as how many rows and how many columns in my data set is present. It will be giving you like this. So everything will be represented as tuples here. The output will be represented as tuples only. Since I'm using a Python code, there are many data available tuples list dictionary like that. Here in pandas, mostly dealing with the tuples. So next thing is memory usage. What in each column, how many bytes are occupied? Okay, in index column, I'm getting the output like this. For example, in index column, these much bytes and these much bytes. It means that each and every cell will be added, and all these will be given here. And all these data type is in 64. It means that each each column is capable of storing a 64 byte 64 bits data and data frame dot n dimension. N dimension means it will be giving you the number of array or access. So here generally I am dealing with a two-dimensional data, that is rows and columns. Then your output will be 2. If you are using a three-dimensional data or four-dimensional data, then the output will be changing according to your data sets. So next thing is indexing and selecting a data. So here in Python, the beautiful thing is slicing. So slicing operator, you will be dealing with a square operator, square represented in a square, and dot operator is used for indexing. So in square, you will be giving rows and columns. For example, I'm having 1, 2, 3 in my list. You can slice like this. That is a list name L equal to, and you can give like this L. You can give it in the print. That is L of 1, 2, 2 means this will be considering the last before element, and this will be considering from the starting element. The index will be 0, 1 and 2. So my output will be only 2 because this 2 will be considering as a last before element. So it will be processing starting from 0 to 2 only. So in this 1 to 2 means I'm going to start with this position only. So that's why my output is 2. This is an example for slicing, and slicing and indexing, it will give you quick and easy access in pandas. So see here in data frames, how I am going to index it. So there are numerous functions are available. So if you are giving the cars data dot head of 6 means it will be accessing only the first 6 rows of data. Uh, by default, if you are not giving anything, so if you are giving at head of empty means by default it will be going to process first 5 rows only. So here I have given a 6, it will be going to process first 6 rows. So it will be displaying as 0 to 5. So instead, if you are using a tail means these data will be processed from bottom. it means the last 5 rows. If I didn't give anything, that is tail of empty, I didn't mention anything, means by default it will be going to display the last 6. So like this way only you are going to process the data from your data sets. This After sorting, you can, for example, you can sort your data, and if you want, for example, in Flipkart or Amazon, you are using the filters like sorting from highest range or lowest range. So this data science is playing a role there for sorting those items. So indexing and selecting a data, there are two methods are there, at and IAT. If you are using the at attribute, uh, these uh, these at and IAT will be dealing with the scalar lookups. For it means that fourth attribute in a fuel type. It means this is the output, that is a diesel will be printed. I at means it will be dealing with only the integer data in your data set. So that is in fifth column if there is a 6 or not. Okay. Uh, uh, no, no. So this is a sixth column and fifth row. So what will be the value? It will be 0. So that will be getting printed. So keep it in your mind. At is for any type of data, and IAT is for integer numerical values data in a data set. So next thing is location. So it means it is going to access a group of rows or columns. You can slicing. This is a slicing. If you want to slice any data, you should use the colon inside the square bracket. It means that I'm going to slice the fuel type alone. It means a 0 up to fuel type. It means 0 up to fuel type. So this will be fuel type. I'm getting the first 8 values in it. So next thing is next we are going to deal with the numeric data types and character data types, and how we are going to check the data type of each columns, and how you are going to count the unique number of data types, and selecting the data. So what are the data types available? As I said, there are two data types of data types available. One is a numeric and character. So numeric will be dealing with the integer or float, and character will be dealing with the string type or characters. So numeric data type, there are two data types generally. Int 64 or int 32 is available. It means that int 64 will be dealing with the 8-byte data, and int 32 will be dealing with the 4-byte data. Same thing for float. Float 64, you have seen in the previous slides, the output will be displayed as int 64 data type of the output will be displayed as int64, because here in Excel I'm purely dealing with CSV file or Excel file. So by default, each data dealing with int64, that is 8 bytes data only. So these data type will be helpful in allocating the space when there is a time overload or time overhead occurs. It allows the computers to for storage optimization or efficiency in processing. So these are the character data types. If your cells is containing any characters or a string or NaN values. So the not a number, everything will be considered here as a character only. So these character types, there are two categories. One is a category and an object. So category will be dealing with the categorical values, that is a string value. It will be considering as a fixed numbers. But rather in object, the length is not fixed, but this is a string, but the length is not fixed. For this, any column is a blank, that is NaN, or numbers, you can, there is no limit for numbers, so that will be considering as an object data type. So next thing, how to check the data type of the each column. So if you are given in the code, so instead you have to give all this in your statement. If you are giving a cars underscore data one of eight types, so you will be output like this. So the price column will be containing a int64 data type, and age is of float 64 data type, and kilometer is of object data type. It means that I'm going to represent it in a long values. It means that these values will be containing a NaN values. So this data type is considered as an object. And fuel is also containing a NaN object. So the object in this data type is also an object. And HP is also containing a NaN values. So it is also data type is an object. So every cell that is containing a NaN values will be considered as an object data type. Remaining if any point values, it is considered as a float. Without decimal values will be considered as a E64. Altogether is known as an object data type. Next, how you are going to counter unique data types. So for that, the syntax is data frame. Data frame is my name of my data dot get d type underscore counts. It means how many unique data types present in your data. So simply you can give this as in upgrade statement. So float 64 data type, there are two number of data, and in 64 data type there are four number of unique data, and in object data type there are four number of unique data. So all together this count data type as an in64. Since all these are integer numbers, that's why the output of this data type is in64. It has been printed. So selecting the data based on the data types. So based on the data type, I can exclude other data types. So here my syntax I have used is data frame dot select underscore d types equal to include none comma exclude none. It means that you can include the none values or exclude the none values. Here select d types. I have to exclude the object. Object means it will be excluding the object data values, and it will be printing other data values. My output will be like this. And concise summary, you can see the summary of a data frame. It means in which it will be containing and what type of data like this. It means that the syntax is data frame dot info. If you are giving like this, it will be giving you the concise summary of the data frame. It means that data type of the every index and data type of the all the of the columns, and it will be counting the non-null values. How many non-null values are present? It means excluding the null values. How many non-null values are present in each cell? It will be counting, and it will be printing the count. Checking the format of each column. You can also check the format of each column by using the info and what kind of format the column name have. Unique element of the column. You can check what are the how many unique values present in it. Suppose I want to check how many unique values present in the KM column. Here you have to give the column name and NP dot unique. NP is an attribute present in the NumPy package. Dot unique is text, and in bracket I have to give the data frame. In square bracket I have to give my column name. So these my output will be like this. These are the unique columns placed in K column. It also has a special character called question mark. So only it also considered as a unique value. Here this all these can be reading with the data type in 64. So next unique elements. So I'm going to check the unique elements under the HP column. So the same thing, np dot unique is my syntax, and cars underscore data is my data frame name, and this is my column name. The output will be like this. This is also having the special character with 4 question mark. All together, the data type will be in 64. So next variable as a mid color, I'm going to check the unique values in the mid color column. Mid color, I'm having these much object values. So all together, my data type will be a object and also a float. So there are two float numbers are present. So the object, so the data type will be read it as a float 64 here. So the next thing is an automatic. I'm going to check the unique element present in an automatic. So automatic is my column name, and as usual, np.unique is my syntax, and data frame, and in bracket I have to give my column name automatic. So there are two values only present. So 0 is for representing as a manual type, and 1 is for representing an automatic. So there are only two unique values present in this column. That's why I'm getting the output as 2. So there are only two integer values. So my data type of my automatic will be in 64. So the next thing I am going to check with the doors of my cars. So np.unique cars data of doors. I can represent this as an integer or a string. So initially there are many number of integers, so the object data type read it as a data type as in 64 only, because initially I am going to read with the doors as in 64 I have mentioned. That's why this column data type is mentioned as a in 64. So the next thing, how you are going to import a data or convert summary of a data frame, and converting the variables data types, and a category versus object data type, and cleaning column. How we are going to cleaning a column and getting the count of missing values. So these things are together known as a data frame part 2, importing a data. So now we are going to check how many missing columns are there, and for that, you have to consider this n is also a missing column. So n is not a number. Every cell that is containing an n will be considered as a missing value. We need to know that how the missing values are represented in the data set in order to make reasonable decisions. So it means that you have to check how many cells present in with a NaN value or a question mark or a hash value or present in your data set. For that, you have to read the data set, including the missing values. The syntax is NA values equal to question mark or question mark. If your data containing a hash as a missing value, you can represent it by comma separated, and you can represent it as hash here, and you have to close this. Okay. So next concise summary of a data frame. So you have to before checking the missing values, you have to check the concise summary, because this concise summary of the data frame will be giving you the whole summary of your data set. It means that, so there are total, see here, cost data.info, I'm having 1436 entries in the total, but in these two, there is uh, in these two only there are fully unit price, and these two only there are full columns with the NaN object. So that's why only it is showing as 1436. It means that this also having a missing column with NaN values. So remaining entries are having question mark entries also. That is, the value is not present. It will be simply keep it as an empty. That's why it is showing with the less values. 12861336 like that. And this is also will be having the same columns. So after replacing these missing columns with NaN, so see like this. So the values are changed. 1430, 1421. It means this and yet I4 will be exclude the NaN. It means it will not consider the NaN in info while we are getting the info of your data frames. Converting the variable data type. You can convert the data type of a variable. It means that already I'm having the mid color data type. You can convert this to a object data type. The syntax is data frame dot as type. In bracket, you have to give what data type you are going to convert it. So here I'm going to convert it the mid color and column and automatic column to a object. Already this is a red color it also I'm going to convert the object data type. So data frame in bracket you are going to give the column name dot as type is a syntax and inside you have to give it as an object data type. So this is the way you want to convert the column data type explicitly. Next thing is n bytes. N bytes is used to get the total number of bytes consumed by the elements present in the column. It means that you are going to check how many number of bytes consumed by the columns. So for example, I am going to check the fuel type column in bytes. So it means that it is consuming 11488 bytes by the fuel type column. So all these you have to represent inside the print for getting these outputs. It is a category data type. So now I'm going to convert this fuel type into a category data type means same thing. I have to you follow the syntax. Cars data type is my data frame. Inside the column name dot as type is my syntax and in single quotes if I'm giving as a category dot n bytes means in category data type how many values are present in the fuel type and how many number of bytes it will be represented. And after rechecking the data type of a variable, see here, this fuel type is changed into an object and automatic I have changed this and I have changed this. So after getting another data frame info, so these things are changed into an object. So all together, while getting an info, all the data types present in the data sets will be displayed. That is, I'm having the 3 entries in the float 64 data type and 3 column entries in the 64 data type and 4 column entries in the object data type. You will be getting a detailed data types of each column and how many number of columns I'm having in my data set and how many number of entries. It means that how many number of rows. This is a row count and this is a column count. And cleaning column stores. It means that I used to replace indoors I'm having both the integer values and also I'm having the categorical values. Categorical values means strings. So I want to replace this categorical value into integer. How can I do that? By using the replace method. So the syntax is data frame dot replace and to replace comma value in which value you are going to replace by what and you have to give in place equal to true. This is a like this is a default thing you have to give it, and you can also try numpy dot var. You can also, instead of using this in pandas, you can use the var method in numpy for replacing also. So after I'm giving like this, so all these three will be changed with the integer 3, and the string 4 will be getting replaced by the 4, and 5 will be getting replaced by the integer 5. So after checking this data type, it will be showing like int 64 data type for those column. See here, so I'm converting since door column will be having all the categorical values with your object data type. Since I have replaced all the string into integer, so I have to change the data type also. So for that, I'm changing this data type of doors as type with the int64. So after checking the info, you will be after checking the info like this, you will be getting the doors with the instead of object will be changing as in 64. So detect the missing values. How you can detect the missing values? So to check the count of the missing values, you have to use the syntax. So that is data frame dot is null dot sum. So just give simply in this, in the current statement you will be getting in each column I'm having the 100 missing values, and km I'm having the 50 missing values. It means that it will be counting the question marks, hashes or empty values, or an all will be considered as a missing values only. So all those can be considered here. So remaining columns I'm not having any missing values, so that's why it is rectangle as 0. So what are the data types of this output? All these are integer numbers, so that's why by default my data type is represented as in 64. So the next thing, these are the things we have discussed so far. So what are the types of data available? Numeric and character data. In character data, there are two categories. One is a categorical data, another one is an object data. And how you want to check the data type of the each column, we have seen that. And counting the unique data types, and how you are going to select the data present in the data types, and concise summary of a data frame using an info method, and check the format of each column, and how you are going to get the unique elements, and how you are going to find the missing values in the data set. All these were discussed. So the next thing, we are going to see the data visualization. So the data visualization means all these things syntaxes we have seen so far is for data analysis. So the next thing is actually we are going to create histograms or a bar chart or a scatter plot for processing the data. The people who are doing the research are mostly represented like a graph only. It means that you are simply analyzing the values in an Excel. If it is a 10 values, you can put a simple graph, but it contains the thousands of values. You want to represent it as a graph after analyzing it from that you have data set downloaded. So this data set will be very helpful in analyzing your data and by representing the data. For this data visualization in Python, you uh, are advised to import a matplotlib library. So matplotlib library, as we see, we have imported a pandas package for data analyzing. For data visualization, it is need to import matplotlib library for using the scatterplot, histogram, and bar plot. So what is data visualization? It means that interpretation of a data. So every person will able to understand easily by seeing a picture rather than having text formats. So for that, data visualization is allows you to quickly interpret the data and adjust different variables to see see their effect. So technology is day by day increasing day by day. So this data visualization is making us easier to understand the data sets. So why you want to visualize the data? To for observing the patterns, identifying the extreme values that could be anomalies, and for easy interpretation. So why data visualization is needed means it is very essential because a complex data can be transformed into easy understandable manner. So what are the advantages of data visualization means? It simplifies the complex data. It means that uh, a large data set will be looking like clumsy, right? So this visualization like charts and graphs, it is allows us to grasp patterns and outliers quickly. For this data visualization in data science, we are using a histogram bar plot. Whereas in a machine learning or deep learning, there are some classifiers algorithms for allows us to classify the data there. And the second thing, it reveals the patterns and trends. It means that this will be helping in spotting a strong relationship between the data present in your data sets. For example, a line graph will be easily showing you the growth of the sales, or you can see in a daily basis a share market. The whole thing will be visualized in a single page with a pie charts or bar graphs like that. In in share market also, they are widely using this data visualization for analyzing their shares up and downs and for the enhancement of our communication. So this visualization will be more engaging of understanding the audiences or the users to communicate to finding the right clients to discuss with. And also it is facilitating the data exploration also. Here I am going to deal with three data visualization techniques. So here, what are the popular libraries in Python used to visualize this? The first thing is Matplotlib. It is used to create a 2D graphs or a plot. That is in Excel, you will be seeing the bar chart or histograms or line chart with the 2D visualization. If you want to go high range of visualization, you can go for pandas visualization using a Cbond. Cbond is one of the library, and ggplot is also one of the libraries. So this ggplot is used in R language. It is not in the Python. It is R language, and plotly is also in R language. So we are going to see matplotlib and Cbond. And now, next thing is matplotlib. It is a 2D plotting library which uses a good quality figures in a two-dimensional manner only. So, for example, bar charts, pie chart like that. It is heavily operated using a NumPy package. It means these graphs are doing the numerical analysis. So, for this, we are in compulsory to import the NumPy package, Pandas package, and Matplotlib package for data visualization. So the second thing is scatter. First thing you are going to see is scatter plot. So what is scatter plot? It means that there will be a set of points in your graph that represents the values between in the presence of x and y axis. That is, x axis is a vertical manner and x axis is horizontal manner and vertical manner anything. So x and y axis in that. So the every points or data will be represented as a points only. It is used to convey the relationship between the two numeric values only. So this scatter plot will be dealing with two numerical values. Sometimes it can be also called as a correlation plot because how the 2 points are correlated or related to each other. So for representing the scatter plot, it is compulsorily to import these three libraries, that is pandas as PD. It means you are want to working on your data frames, you need the pandas as PD and numpy as NP as you are going to deal with the numerical values for plotting the values. So the third thing for representing the graph, you want to import this. That is matplotlib dot pyplot is a Python plot. Py is an extension for the Python as PLT. PLT is a plotting. Like this, you want to import it. So the second thing I want to in which data I'm going to represent it. For that, I have to import that data frame into my um, data visualization. So for that, I'm using a pt.read CSV file. I'm going to import the Toyota.csv file and excluding the null values. Like that, you have to import the data. And after that, for plotting, I have to remove the missing values. For that, drop NA. If you are giving us drop NA means it will be removing all the missing values. So see here, after removing the missing values, my size will be reduced. So the next thing, PLT dot scatter. Here age is at my x-axis. So this is the syntax for representing. So the first thing you have to give the x-axis, and the second thing we are going to y-axis. It means that I'm going to create a relationship between the age column and the price column. That is the age of my car and price of my cars. So I'm going to give the title for my scatter plot. What is my syntax is PLT dot title. Inside the bracket, I'm going to give the title of my chart, and you have to give the name for your x-axis and also the y-axis. And x-axis is I'm giving the name like this, and y-axis. So for creating the chart, I have to call this method plt.show. After that only the graph will be created. It means that I'm going to represent a relationship between the age and price as a point. So that point should be in a red color. So for that I'm giving C equal to red. See here. So the scatter plot will be all represented as red color. It means that in this by this graph, it is clearly shown that whenever the age of a car will be going on increasing, the price will be gradually decreasing. See here, the price will be decreasing when the age of a car will be increasing. So the next thing is histogram. So histogram, it is a graphical representation of data. It will be using the bars in different heights. It also creating here a relationship between the two ones. It is why we want to use a histogram means while creating a frequency distribution of where numerical values, you can go for a histogram. If you want to relate the two values or two variables relationship, you can go for a scatter plot. It means it groups the numbers into a ranges and height of each bar, which it depicts the frequency of each range or a bit. Okay. So same thing for same age and price. I'm going to create a histogram. It shows that whenever the age increases, this histogram, that is value will be getting decreased. So it means that I'm going to a frequency distribution. So I'm going to kilometers. Oh, sorry, kilometer. How much kilometer it will be going? It the car has run up. So that's value is represented in histogram. For this, the syntax is plt dot hist. You have to use. So after this, you have to give the syntax plt dot show for getting this histogram graph. See here. So what is your uh, y-axis name and x-axis name and title of your histogram, and how many bins I have to represent. It means that how many bins, how many frequency distributions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why bins is 5. And color is green, each color is white. Like that I have to give. See here. So for which one I am going to create a histogram for this column type. So I have given a color as a green and background color is white. That is edge color is white. So that's why I have got edge color is white, and for inside I have to fill it with a green color and 5 distributions. That's why bits are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next one is a bar plot. So what is a bar plot means? It represents the categorical data with the rectangular bars. It means it also look like a histogram, but it is not a histogram. It means that it will be makes the user to easy understand of comparison of values. And it is easy to compare the sets of data between the different groups also. It is a that presents the categorical data with a rectangular balls of length proportional to the represents the counts. So here I'm going to create a bar plot for x-axis as an index and y-axis as a counts. It means that height of the bars. I have to give height of the bars and counts as like this. See, I'm going to create a bar plot for these two, and I have to use the syntax np.arrange. Arrange means it will be arranging. For arranging length of the fuel tank according to the length of the fuel tank, you are going to arrange. So my bar plot title is this, and x-axis title is this, and y-axis title is this. After that, plot dot plt dot show will be giving you the final bar plot. See here, I have given it as a red, blue, and cyan. That is for this red, and for this blue, and for this cyan. I'm getting like this frequency distributions. So you can also give the set of labels. You can give the labels also. So for each thing, you can give the labels also by using the syntax x of index, influenting, and rotation is equal to 90-degree means it will be, see here, it will be rotated in a 90-degree and it will be using giving the titles. What will be the fuel type is my labels, set of x labels. This will be a set of y x ticks. So we have seen so far 3 types of plotting: scatter plot, histogram, and bar plot. Scatter histogram is for categorical values, and scatter plot is for correlation of values, and bar plot is for representing the relationship between the data. So, where are the applications of data science have been used? Yes, in various fields, mainly in finance, data science is playing a major role, and is also a healthcare. Healthcare means how many people are affected in cancers like that. You can process your data sets by using this data science, and also in marketing, retail, and like creativity. Majorly in Amazon, Flipkart, this data science is playing a vital role. So same I have explained in Python. You can do it in R language or SCI kit learn. Skykit learn also. And also you can use the SQL commands for processing the data sites. So there are more visualization tools available on the net. You can note it down. Tableau and Power BI. So I will put it in a chat box. Tableau, Power BI. These are simulations tools for doing data science of your data. And thank you. Any clarifications you can ask via chat box, or you can unmute your mic and you can ask. Harisha, are you there? Is there anyone from Pencil Bits?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have finished my session. If any doubts, you can ask the participants to ask.
Yes, ma'am. A participant, if you have any doubt, you can ask here. Or you can use also chat window for your clearing your doubts.
Ma'am,
Oh, yes.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you share the PPTs? I had asked, I had posted it yesterday also, but
Uh, ma'am, actually, I'm taking a session. You can ask the coordinator to for PPTs, ma'am.
okay,
Yes,
ma'am. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
we will mail it, ma'am, to your mail ID which you have used to register with the certificate.
I can post it here in the chat session. Can I post my mail ID in the chat session?
No need, ma'am. You will register using that mail ID, no?
Done all that. I have registered everything. I had posted it. I have sent an SMS, everything. But still, they are
Yeah,
not.
you will get the PPT material with the certificate, ma'am, after the 5 days FTP is completed.
Together, is it? Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Anyway, I
yes,
have
ma'am.
posted my mail ID today in the chat section. In case if you have, because I would like to go through it again. Together, there won't be
Yeah,
any
okay.
continuity. That is why I thought every day if you share, I can, revise because listening alone will not be helpful. So that's the reason I asked.
Okay,
I've
ma'am.
posted my mail ID there in the chat section. If you can, please post the PPT there today, whoever that percent had that ma'am had taken class. I kindly request her to post it there. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Herewith, I thank Pencil Bits India for organizing a beautiful session on data science and for asking me to take a session today. I hereby thank the whole organization for taking as my resource person for conducting this session. Thank you, Pencil Bits. And thank you,
Yeah,
Harisha.
thank you, ma'am. Yeah, I would also like to thank you, ma'am, for making this session excellent. And I would also like to thank all the participants. Thank you.
Sh- Shall I end this meet as no one is asking any questionnaires? If anyone is asking any queries, please post it in the chat box. I will wait for another 5 minutes. And I must thank all the participants for patiently listening to my session. And thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Harisha, shall I left the meet?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.